Hey everyone, Jack here, and this is a quick tutorial on how to read guitar tabs. If you're a beginner, this is one of the easiest ways how to learn songs without learning how to read music, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll know how to read tabs and you'll be able to play along to your favorite songs. So let's get into it. Guitar tab, short for tablature, is a way for writing music for fretted instruments like guitar. It's made up of 6 horizontal lines, each representing a string on your guitar. The bottom line is your thickest low E string, and the top line is your thinnest high E. In the beginning, you might find this easier to see by laying the guitar flat on your lap, looking down at it, and you can indeed see the thickest string is on the bottom, and the thinnest string is on the top. It can be confusing at first by having it in the regular playing position. A lot of people think that it looks upside down when you're sort of mirror matching it to the tab that you're looking at. One handy way you can remember the order is that when you see the TAB tab in the top left of the tab, you can read this as treble and bass. Alright, so you've got the treble at the top, which is the thinner, higher strings, giving you that more high treble sound, and then the bass at the bottom with the bassier strings. Okay, so the next thing you're going to see is some numbers written on the lines. Now, these numbers simply represent the frets that you're going to play on your guitar. When you see a 0 written, this simply means we're not fretting anywhere and we're playing the string as open. Okay, so this is an open low E, this is an open A, open D, open G, open B, and open high E. Any number between 1 and it can go up to 24, depending on how many frets your guitar has. Most acoustics only have 20. Simply represents the fret, so wherever you see this number written on whatever string it's written on, you would simply fret that note. For example, here's first fret on the low E. When you see numbers written side by side, this means to play them in that order, okay? For example, this 0, 2, 3, 5 on the low E. These numbers can move across and jump around the strings. For example, if we're playing a scale like this G major scale. If you were to see numbers stacked on top of each other, this simply means to play a chord. So we play all these notes at the same time. This can be a mix of fretted notes and open strings. For example, here's a G chord. Here's a C chord. D major chord. Here's a few common guitar techniques that are shown in the tab as symbols and are very, very useful to know about. These slashes in the tab and the little SL dot written above it represents slides. So what happens here, if you don't know what slides are, you would play the first note that's written, which is the 2nd fret of the G string here, and then you would slide up to the 4th fret. Equally, you can play a note and slide down to another note. These are how hammer-ons and pull-offs are written. So you play the first note that's written, which is the 3rd fret of the B, and hammer on to the 5th fret. Okay, we're playing the first note with our index finger and hammering on with our ring finger. And pull-offs are simply just that reversed. We're playing the 5th fret here and pulling off to the 3rd. And here's how it looks in the tab if you were to combine the two together, so a hammer on and a pull off. Remember, just pick the string once in the beginning and let our fingers do the rest. Bends are shown here by having the note played and then an arrow kind of bending up with the word written full. Okay, so what happens here is that we're playing this 8th fret of the B and we're bending up full, which is a full tone, i.e. a whole step, which is 2 frets basically. So from this 8th fret to this 10th fret, but we're bending it like this. You can also see half note bends, which is half the distance of a full one. Instead of going from here to here, we're going from here to here with the bend. You can also have bends and releases. So like we're going to do a full bend and then bend back down to the note again. It looks like this. And the last one I want to mention is vibrato. Very common, happens all the time on guitar. What we do is we simply play the note and we shake our fingers to get this kind of vibrato sound, okay? So we're holding the note and shaking it. There are tons more techniques out there. These are the ones that I wanted to show in this video because this will get you through 90% of the tabs that you see out there. I recommend when you come across new ones, just learn them as they go, because if you try and learn all the symbols of all the techniques right at the beginning, you'll get overwhelmed with absolute, plethora of symbols. So just use these ones for now and you should be good for a while. Okay, tab does a great job of telling us guitarists what notes to play and where to play them on the neck. But what it doesn't tell us is any rhythmic value. Like how long are the notes played for, and what about the spaces in between the notes? These things we don't know by just reading tab. So what happens here is often that tab is paired with notation written above it. You'll often find that song tabs will have the notation written directly above it on another set of horizontal lines. It's the exact same piece of music, just written as notation. Now, this isn't a lesson on how to read music notation at all, but what I will say, and this is very, very important, is that these music notes that are written on the notation contain some rhythmic value. So check this out. This is a quarter note, or a crotchet for my fellow British friends. And when you have 4 quarter notes in a bar or a measure of 4/4 time, then it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notes that look like this are 8th notes, or quavers. And when we put 8 of them in a bar or measure of 4/4 time, it's going to sound like this. 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's play this C note, okay? 3rd fret of the A string written on the tab. You can see that. And let's play it as 4 quarter notes in a bar. Now let's play the same C note as 8 8th notes in the same bar. Now let's play a mix of the two. We've got some 8th notes and quarter notes happening in the same bar. So here we can see what notes to play and how long to play them for. One thing that's often done is combining the notes of the tab and the rhythm of the notation, condensing it down all into just the tab lines. By having the rhythmic note length lines come down from the numbers, you can see what frets to play and for how long to play them for. You can see here are the quarter notes and here are the 8th notes. This is how I like to write and read tab myself. I think it looks clean and minimal, and it contains all the information I need to know how to play the piece of music correctly. Here's a real song example showing how this works. This is the main riff to Cream's Sunshine of Your Love, tabbed out using this combined tab notation. Here we can see what notes are being played, how long they're being played for, and we've also got these little rests in between the notes. So let's dissect this riff a little closer. Here we got 4 8th notes happening right at the beginning. Then there's a little rest happening here, and a short 8th note here. Another little short rest, another 8th note. Short rest, 8th note. Short rest, 8th note, followed by 2 quarter notes. You can clearly hear those last 2 are longer than the 8th notes. I will say the good thing about reading tab without any rhythmic information is it does force you to use your ears when you're listening and learning the music to really get the rhythm down, which is really not a bad thing at all, because really we want to be using our ears as much as possible to work out music. It's a great tool for us to do. Okay, a final area I wanted to touch upon is internet tabs. Found most commonly on places online like Ultimate Guitar. These are really great because they're free and accessible. Anyone can Google guitar tabs for any song they want and it'll probably be there. One thing to be aware of these is that they are formatted slightly differently. They're using something called ASCII text, which kind of looks like the dotted lines that you see for the strings. There's the techniques that we looked on, like the bends and the hammer-ons and things, are sort of written within the lines and right next to the notes. Okay, so something to be aware of. Also, these are public user uploads, so when you see tabs on here, they're uploaded by regular people just like you and me, and they can be interpreted in different ways that some people might find them inaccurate or just plain wrong. But sometimes they can be great. So, just something to be aware of, that these aren't official tabs, they're public uploads. And that's basically it for this crash course on how to read guitar tab for beginners. I really hope it's helped you. Feel free to check out some other videos of mine. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.